Hi guys, welcome back to the barn. In this video I'm going to show you how I make my fake live edge slabs. Got 3 pieces to make, 1 for the seat back and 2 for the shelf supports in the utility room. I need 2 at 1400, which is the seat back and the cupboard support with some coat hooks in, and then I need a return piece at 1350 which will just support the cupboards as a return around the corner. I'm going to make them out of this Atlantic pine parquet floor. This is what's left of the pack that I bought for the seat top, which is without knots, absolutely perfect timber, 5 pieces in a pack, €54. This pack here is sort of standard off the shelf parquet floor, and I pay €29 for 5 pieces. But you never quite know what you're going to get when you open them. Sometimes you get ginormous knots falling out. Well, this is the face piece. There's a couple of small knots there, absolutely fine. Middle piece, there's a little knot there. There's a couple of knots in this one, that one's slightly loose. Sometimes you find the worst pieces are in the middle of the pack. I wonder why they package them like that. That's okay. The last piece, couple of little knots there. Okay, so for €29 I've got a bargain with this pack. Some packs aren't as good. I need 3 pieces. The one that forms a seat back, I'm just going to use a standard piece. The one for the top with the coat hooks, I want it to be a bit more decorative, and I'm going to join 2 pieces to get a little bit more width, and then I'm going to shape it on the bandsaw and have it reducing with a little bit of a wavy feature on, like you would traditionally see with a sort of live edge slab. And the next thing is I want a little bit more thickness. These are 21mm, so just about 7/8 of an inch. I want to probably increase that to about 30mm, so I'm going to cut some strips and glue them on the back. So let's take these to the chop saw, cut them to length, and then once I've got 3 pieces we can start to shape them. So we've got us 3 pieces. I've cut them all from the knottier version. I've left my knot-free version probably for the cupboard doors. This one I think I'm going to make the seat back, and I'm not going to do too much with that. I'm going to cut the tongue off, I'm going to cut the groove off, and I'm going to shape it. That's all I'm going to do, so I can just put that to one side at the moment. And this one's going to be for the hook and the shelf support, and I'm going to make this a bit thicker. So what I'm going to do is the same. I'm going to cut the tongue and the groove off, and then I'm going to cut the tongue off this one, and I'm going to cut probably about to there with that groove in. These grooves always get in the way, so it's kind of need to work around these grooves. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to glue this piece to that piece, and then this piece I'm going to cut into strips to thicken the pieces, and the other piece is just be like the seat back. I'm just going to work it all from one piece. Okay, so with this project I'm going to be making a lot of dust. Not only am I going to be sewing, but I'm going to be grinding later in the video. So I'm going to need a dust mask. Over the last few months I've been wearing the Basecamp M series dust mask, and Basecamp have very kindly sent me a couple more of these Type M. Now they've also sent me a Type N. I've not worn a Type N before, so I'm going to try this one out, and also sent me some foam nose guards which are supposedly to aid comfort. Not that I've ever had a problem with comfort. So let's just open this M one and see how it differs. This is the M one that I've been using for the last few months. So I'm guessing the foam pad goes in there, but we'll look at that in a minute. And this is the N one. Quite sure what the difference is. So when you get the pack, it already comes with a filter inside, and you get a pack of replacement filters. Okay, so it fits totally different, and your ears go through there. I quite like the idea that you don't need 2. That's my glasses. The glasses fit on underneath. That's okay, I like that. Actually, I prefer this than the piece that goes over your head. I have actually quite a small head, so with this it wraps over the head, I've kind of got it on the smallest setting. My mates always used to take the mickey out of me when I worked on building sites, because every time I picked an hard hat up, take it down to the smallest setting, and then somebody else picked it up and like, who's had this hat on? A 3-year-old? Thank you, Basecamp. Right, let's put one of these nose things on then and see what that looks like. Pick one off. There's about, I don't know how many is there, 10. Peel one off and you stick it in there. Let's try it now. That feels like it makes a difference. I'll put some links to the masks in the description of the video, and there's already a 10% discount code for these masks. Thank you, Basecamp. I shall get on and make some dust now. cool, so far so good. Actually, we might need some of these later in the build. There's a few things we need to glue up, and I can have my breakfast, I'm starving. Okay, so these are the two pieces I need to glue together, and I've just been having a play with them. That's got a pinkish green to it. There's a little pinky green here, but this is white. So I'm going to glue that together, and then when I shape it, I'm going to try and keep that knot. So I'll sort of try and sort of shape it in and out, and then in and down to one layer. I'm going to put some dominoes in, just because I've got a domino. Don't have to put a domino in. In fact, once it's on the wall, it goes that way around. So I can put domino, domino, and a domino, but this one here, I'll have to not put a domino in, because this is the one that I'll kind of slope up there. Missed that one. This is our main piece with a little extension on it. I want to start my cut somewhere there. I want to work around this knot, so I'm thinking of a sort of a sweep like that to that knot and out again. And then from that knot here, I want to work just into this piece of wood here. So probably from there, something like that. I want to end up at this end, this width here, because I need to meet that. So I'm just going to cut this, freehand it on the bandsaw and see what it looks like. Okay, I think that'll do. I've got some kind of shape on there, and I've got a matching shape on there. What I now need to do, because I've got such a shape on it, I've cut through some of these anti-curl grooves. First of all, I need to put this on there to give it its thickness, and then the second one, piece it together around there. But I also need to fill these little grooves. Might be able to use as little fire starters. If I just cut them down, I can glue these in at the same time. One in there, one in there. Okay, so fill them little holes, the ones that matter, or I think the ones that will matter once I start to shape it. And I cut that round there. One thing you don't see on this channel, unless it's absolutely crucial, I don't spend a lot of money on materials. I try and find a way and figure out a way to do it without spending a fortune. Right, I'll put that to one side and let that dry for an hour or so, and I'll get on with the rest of the build. Okay, so these are the tools I use to create the profiles on the edge. There's nothing sophisticated here. All these fit in the angle grinder. Basically, I've got a pair of sculpting discs here. I bought these off Amazon. They were only about £13–14, 15 euros. These little flap discs was even cheaper. There was a pair for about £4 from the local kind of DIY shop. Usually start with that one and then just play around till I find something I like. And then once I've used that, which leaves quite a lot of sanding to do, then I move to these just to smooth it out. Then on to the sandpaper with 60 grit, 100 grit, and through the grits. Now this piece here is the seat back, so I'm going to shape this on both sides. I've got a hole here, which is where a knot were. See if I can sort of just sculpt to that in. Now you definitely need a dust mask for this because it is really, really dusty. I've got the window open at one end of the workshop. I've got the doors open at the other. As you can see, it's a bit dusty, but I'm happy with this. So, I mean, the whole idea of it really is just to set the corners off and leave it feeling tactile and the edges ununiformal. So the skill, if there is a skill to using that disc, is the slower you go, the smoother the finish. So I usually start off quite quick and just burn my way through the timber and then just slow it down because it just saves time in the next phase when I'm going to put the flap disc in. For the backrest, both sides, I'm happy with that, and I'll swap over to the flap disc and then we're back to the sander. So this is finished with the angle grinding. I've just marked and cut it to length, offered it up at the wall. I think it looks quite nice. I need to sand it with the ordinary sander before I finish it. I'm now going to do the other piece, the other thin piece, which is the return section. Need to remember when I do that return section that it's actually handed and not grind the wrong side off. Okay, so I've roughly shaped this one. There's a couple of gaps, there's a couple of little knots that could just do with filling. I'm going to mix a little bit of 5-minute epoxy and just fill the holes.
Morning. What an horrible day. It's as black as night. It's 10:30 and it's feels like the day's not started yet. So hopefully today we're going to get these finished. I've got to sand them up. I temporarily put the couple of pieces on the wall yesterday just so I could get the size in. So everything's now cut to size. They just need their final sanding and then I can start to stain them. Now I'm going to stain them in 2 phases. I don't want to put them on the wall and stain them because I'm just going to get stain all over the wall. But because I'm going to put some pellets in the holes that I've pre-drilled to hide the screw head, I need to sand them once they're on the wall. I'll have to stain the edges 2 or 3 coats and maybe just a coat in the middle and then stain where the pellets are once I've sanded them down. So this is the one that goes on the masonry wall, the side wall. Made this different from the other one. Actually drilled the holes and glued these in and not round them over. I thought I would do it whilst I sanded them today, and I epoxy glued these in rather than PVA'd them in, just out of curiosity. They're certainly set now anyway. The really disappointing thing is I spent a lot of time scribing this around the other one and it looked really neat, and then I've been and dropped it and broke it. I'm going to shut the door.
So there we go, another job finished. Certainly needed the dust mask for that job, it was very dusty. So thank you to Basecamp for sending me the mask. If you want to check out their range of dust masks, check out the description in this video. So the next task is to build a cupboard above the hooks. Now there is still a little bit of debate whether it should be a cupboard or whether it should be a shelf. So let me know guys, which would you like to see me build, shelf or a cupboard? But for now I'm going to go and tidy the workshop up because it's quite messy. I'll see you later guys, bye.